The girl had been starving for 3 years without eating, but when a kind couple gave her a meat bun, she refused to eat it. Instead, she picked up a watermelon left behind by a customer and stuffed it into her mouth. The couple immediately rushed to stop her, angrily asking why she wouldn't eat the meat bun they gave her. The shop owner thought she was being ungrateful and was about to teach her a lesson, but the next second, the girl said sadly, "Mom, we haven't eaten yet." The couple was stunned. Following the girl's gaze, they saw a disheveled woman sitting not far away. Only then did the shop owner realize that the girl had given the meat bun to her mentally ill mother. So, out of kindness, she brought another meat bun. Unexpectedly, the girl refused with a wave of her hand. She explained that she couldn't take more, since the shopkeeper already gave her one for free, and business wasn't easy. Hearing this, the shopkeeper's wife felt a deep ache in her heart. She forcibly stuffed the meat bun into the girl's hand and said, "Grow up well. When you earn money one day, pay us back." The girl gratefully thanked the couple. But even then, she didn't eat the bun. She tucked it into her pocket, saving it for her mother's dinner. Then she held her mother's hand and was about to continue collecting bottles in the crowd. Just then, a luxury car stopped nearby. A wealthy CEO stepped out. The assistant explained that this was the heiress of the Liu family, the richest person in town and its greatest philanthropist. They told the girl she could share her difficulties, but when the girl's mother saw the CEO's face, she collapsed to the ground. It turned out the CEO was her long-lost husband. 7 years ago, they were a couple admired by all. But when the CEO was about to reveal his true identity, he suddenly fell seriously ill and went into a coma. To save him, the woman worked day and night, even while pregnant, to earn the surgery money. When she finally managed to gather enough and rush to the hospital, the doctor said his condition had worsened. The only solution was a bone marrow transplant from her. Despite being 8 months pregnant and at great risk, she agreed without hesitation. She endured the agonizing pain of the procedure with minimal anesthesia to save him. But when the CEO woke up, all he saw was his lover's cold body. Overwhelmed with grief, his father had her body taken away, never noticing that her finger had moved. 7 years passed. Every year, the CEO visited her grave. One day, on his way back, he saw the little girl praying by the roadside. Out of kindness, he stopped to help. But when the woman saw his face, fragments of memory returned. She rushed forward, grabbed his hand, and tried to see the wedding ring. The assistant, however, pushed her down, accusing her of trying to scam money. The girl tried to defend her mother but was also pushed to the ground. The CEO believed the accusations, thinking they were pretending to be crazy to get money. He threw a wad of cash on the ground and turned away. The woman collapsed under the pressure. The girl rushed to beg the CEO to help send her mother to the hospital, but he coldly pushed her aside. He had no idea that the two he abandoned were his wife and daughter. Fortunately, the kind couple helped and got the mother to the hospital. But the doctor said her condition had damaged her brain nerves from the emotional shock. She needed immediate brain surgery or she wouldn't survive 3 days. The surgery cost 400,000 yuan, leaving the girl in despair. Still, she didn't give up. At only 6 years old, she polished shoes on the street, handed out flyers under the scorching sun, and even drank water from trash bins. She carried a sign asking for help from kind strangers. When all efforts failed, she remembered hearing the assistant say the CEO was not only rich but also a great philanthropist who could help anyone in need. So, the little girl went to the Liu family villa and knocked on the door. Hearing that a little girl was looking for his son, the CEO's father was puzzled, but told the butler to let her in. Seeing her shabby appearance, she felt deep pity and gently asked why the girl was looking for her son. The girl answered directly, she came to borrow money from the CEO. If she couldn't get the money, her mother might die. After saying this, the little girl hurriedly ran out. The old man's heart was in turmoil because he realized the girl looked exactly like his son when he was a child. So he immediately ordered the butler to take a strand of the girl's hair for a paternity test. Meanwhile, the CEO discovered that the wedding ring on his desk was missing, the only thing his wife had left him before her death, which he cherished dearly. He instantly ordered his assistant to search for it everywhere. Soon, reward posters were plastered all over the city. At that very moment, the girl was still worrying about her mother's surgery fee. When she saw the poster, she was horrified to recognize the ring. It was the same one her mother wore on her finger. Determined to save her mother, she went back to the hospital, slipped the ring off her mother's hand, and prepared to sell it for money. The CEO quickly drove to the hospital. But when he got out of the car, he saw the girl and recognized her as the scammer from earlier in the day. He angrily questioned why she was there. The innocent girl explained that she thought pawning the ring could raise money for her mother's treatment. But the assistant accused her, saying she must have stolen it earlier. No matter how the girl tried to explain, the CEO refused to believe her. He was convinced she stole the ring for money. He forcefully snatched it from her hand. Frightened, the girl panicked and bit his hand to break free. The assistant quickly picked up the ring and handed it back to the CEO. But when the CEO examined it, he was shocked. It was indeed his wife's ring, though now dirtier than ever. The assistant sneered, saying the CEO had always polished it carefully, yet after just one day of her wearing it, it had become filthy. The girl couldn't bear it any longer and shouted, this was her mother's ring, worn for many years. But hearing this only made the CEO more furious. He believed the girl was lying from childhood and insisted she should be sent to a reformatory for discipline. Yet, seeing her pitiful face, he hesitated and turned to leave. The girl, however, clung to his leg and begged him for 400,000 yuan to save her mother. The CEO, shocked that such a young child dared to ask for so much money, kicked her away in anger. Still, the girl didn't give up. She knelt before him and pleaded desperately. Looking at her, the CEO finally softened. He agreed to go to the hospital with her. If her mother was truly sick, he would help, but if she dared to deceive him, both she and her mother would pay a heavy price. The girl promised again and again that her mother was really ill, then led him to the hospital. But as soon as they arrived, they saw her mother being carried out by doctors. Only then did the CEO finally believe the girl was telling the truth. The girl cried out in anger, asking the doctors why they were taking her mother away. The doctors explained that hospital rules had already been bent. They had allowed her mother to stay an extra day, but the payment only covered 2 days in the ward. The assistant again whispered to the CEO that this might all be an act. The CEO replied coldly, if they dared to deceive him again, even a child would pay a terrible price. Yet, in the next moment, the girl's cries of "Mom!" But as soon as the CEO saw her face, he finally realized that this poor lady was actually his missing wife, whom he had thought was dead, and that the girl was his biological daughter.